Hey, what's up? This your boy Big Man. You already know what it is, man. So let's get right to it. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Fredo Bang. And we also going to touch on Lit Yoshi just a little bit. Now, for those of you who don't know, Fredo Bang and Lit Yoshi both got arrested and they're both waiting extradition back to Louisiana, man. Now, as the story unfolds, we're starting to understand what went down and what the charges are. Now, most of the stories that came out yesterday were full of pretty much rumors and a lot of things that weren't substantiated. But man, today we're going to talk about two stories that talks about exactly why Fredo Bang is caught up in this. And it's wild because it makes it seem like it's Lit Yoshi's fault that Fredo Bang is even in this predicament, man. Because Fredo Bang was pretty much minding his business and doing his thing. Nobody was really looking for him until this situation. Now it looks like it's going to have an effect on his career. And man, before we get into the specifics, do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And man, let's get it. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's talk about this Fredo Bang situation first. Then we'll get to the story about how all this came together, man. Now, Fredo Bang was actually in court today, man. And there was a couple of things that went down. So in this court proceeding today, man, it was basically his extradition hearing. And it looks like they're gonna, or excuse me, his pre-extradition hearing, or his pre-hearing they call it, I think. Now, a lot of people are floating this video around, and basically the judge met with Fredo Bang to talk to him about, him not having a bond amount because, he's being extradited. You can't be bailed out when you need to be extradited, I'm guessing, you know what I mean? I don't know if that's ever worked ever, you know what I mean? So they had to talk to him about that and let him know the charges against him and everything, man. Now, when you look at the information about this, man, it still says that his charge is fugitive warrant out of state. You know what I mean? And some of the stories that were released actually got to the point about his actual charges. Now, it looks like he's also going to have a hearing coming up on the August the 9th of this year, and it's going to be at the same courthouse. It's going to be a different judge. It's looking like, man, that's when his actual extradition hearing is scheduled for. So that's about 2 weeks from now, he's going to be looking at his extradition hearing. So, man, Fredo Bang is caught up in a whirlwind of stuff that he wasn't even asking for. I mean, he basically had an at-home concert. Because for those of you who don't know, Fredo Bang was supposed to be performing at Rolling Loud today or tonight, man. He was supposed to be on the stage tonight before the laws came looking for Lit Yoshi. Ended up getting Fredo Bang caught up, man. Sad situation, man. It's crazy because I know Lit Yoshi's his homeboy, but man, I don't know. I know he was looking out for Lit Yoshi, but this really messed up his game and how things are going on for him and his bag, to be real. Because Fredo Bang was out here getting it, man. Doing multiple shows each week, really making an impact on this game, dropping a video. I think every week he just dropped him and Polo G joint. It was going up. And like I said, man, I did a poll on my own page about the XXL list. And over 10,000 people voted on that poll. And thank you for everybody who voted. And basically, they said that Fredo Bang should have definitely been on the list for, the hottest MCs in the game. You know what I mean? Well, it looks like this whole situation was brought on because Lit Yoshi caught a case, man. He caught another case. Now, currently, Lit Yoshi is looking at several different charges. I want to say like 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder back in Baton Rouge. All in Baton Rouge area, right? Now, I'm going to be referencing a story from The Advocate, and basically it says this. It says, the headline says, Baton Rouge rappers Fredo Bang and Lit Yoshi arrested in Miami after feds police search house. You know what I mean? So basically after the feds and the police searched the house because they were carrying out a warrant to get Lit Yoshi, so they brought the feds and the police. You know what I mean? Okay, so the story continues by saying this. It says, in the latest chapter of Baton Rouge rap drama, 2 local rappers were arrested this week in Miami after federal agents searched the South Florida house belonging to Fredo Bang and arrested his associate Lit Yoshi, who was already out on $1.82 million bond and now faces additional charges stemming from yet another gang shooting. The raid came after investigators linked Lit Yoshi, whose real name is Myoshi Edwards, to an April 2020 shooting in Slidell, and several months after a Baton Rouge judge told him to stop treating his house arrest as a paid vacation in South Florida. Stop right there. Now, for those of you who don't know or haven't been linked in or don't know what's going on with this situation, Lit Yoshi went to South Florida to pretty much do his house arrest, right? So that way he can be out of the way. There is no way he'll be in Baton Rouge getting in any kind of trouble. But there were some things that they set, or some boundaries and guidelines that they set up for him, right? That he couldn't use his social media, he couldn't drop any music videos, but he could work on music throughout the day. So I mean, with all the charges he's facing, that's still a pretty sweet deal. You got to keep it real. That's still a pretty sweet deal, man. But man, the story continues on like this. It says, Edwards, 22, already faced 7 counts of attempted first-degree murder in Baton Rouge. His existing charges stem from 2 shootings that detectives attributed to a simmering feud between rival Baton Rouge record labels. Edwards relocated to Florida after posting bond last August, a move the judge called prudent for his safety. Now, that was a good move. You can even hear the judge himself say, hey man, that was a smart move, so that way you stay out the way, stay out of trouble. He was living in Miami with Fredo Bang, whose real name is Frederick Givens. Both young men have established themselves as relatively successful rappers and are members of the Top Boy Gorilla Gang, which goes by TBG. Obviously, they with the TBG. You see the TBG chains. Everybody knows that Fredo Bang and Lit Yoshi are TBG. Now, the story continues by saying Givens was on parole after pleading guilty to illegal use of weapons and simple criminal damage to property following a 2015 shooting outside a Baton Rouge apartment complex. He was arrested Thursday on a parole violation after police and federal agents found guns inside his house and a stolen car outside, his attorney confirmed. Now, stop right there. Now, I'm gonna have to shoot Fredo Bang some bail. I know, man. Y'all gonna say, okay, well, you Fredo Bang, you listen to Fredo Bang, or you rock with Fredo Bang. It ain't about that, man. It's actually, come on, man. Why in the world would there be a stolen car outside of his own house? Like, that just doesn't make any sense. You know, for anybody who has any sense, you know, and they know they're on paperwork. He knows he's on papers, man. So why in the world would he do that purposely? It just doesn't make sense. And the fact that that car was there at the same time that they came to get Lit Yoshi, you know, that's just bad timing, man. Now, law enforcement officials had previously announced they were investigating Givens and Edwards in connection with the May 2019 shooting in Miami targeting NBA Youngboy, founder of a rival rap group or rap gang. Neither has been charged in the case, though a judge ruled in February that evidence from the Miami incident and the Slidell shooting could be used against Edwards in his ongoing attempted murder case. Ron Haley, the attorney representing Givens and Edwards, said he hopes Givens will be released from jail soon because the guns were registered to his security guards and the stolen car was not his. Now, that's going to be a tough thing to prove because, you know, if it's your residence and it's in your parking garage, it looks bad, right? But come on, man, that doesn't make any sense. Why in the world would Fredo Bang, at this point in his career, have a stolen car outside like he's out here robbing and stealing cars, man? Like I said in my last video, Dirk and Fredo Bang, if you look at their social media, those some show doing dudes, man. They be doing some shows. Like, they do a lot of shows. So I don't know what's going on. And the guns that they found were registered to his security. If they're on the premises, should those count towards him as well? I don't know, man. A lot of things that they're going to have to look at, but it looks like they got their legal game together and they're going to try to fight this. Now, the story concludes by saying Givens was scheduled to perform Friday at the music festival in Miami Gardens, the Miami Herald report said. Now, in this part of the story, they talk about everything that went down when they came to arrest Lit Yoshi and to take in Fredo Bang once they found those weapons and everything on the premises, right? So it continues by saying, Haley said, now remember, Haley is the attorney, he has serious concerns about how law enforcement handled the situation Wednesday. He said officers showed up at the house to arrest Edwards on new charges, then he used that as an excuse to search the property. Haley added that Edwards had been compliant with his bond conditions and his whereabouts were no secret, so authorities could have notified him about the new warrant and asked him to turn himself in. So basically, they're saying that they knew where Lit Yoshi was. They didn't have to go through all this smoke bombs and craziness that you're about to hear in a second just to get him. I mean, if they would have called him, he would have turned himself in because, like I said, he wasn't allowed to do any videos. He wasn't allowed to go on social media. He could only go like to the studio, and that was it, I think, man, and be at the crib, which he lived with Fredo Bang. So, I mean, he was probably living pretty good. You know what I mean? So the story continues by saying this. It says, In quotes, the aggressive manner in which agents entered the home of Mr. Givens with smoke bombs, armed with assault rifles and tactical gear, could have easily been avoided, Haley said. Instead, his property was damaged and his house was left a wreck. It appears the search was conducted as a part of a larger investigation into the TBG gang. Now they're calling TBG a gang in that section. That's them. Edwards had been free since last August when he posted the exceedingly high $1.82 million bond. The Baton Rouge judge set strict conditions for his release. He was allowed to make music, but prohibited him from appearing in any music videos, posting on social media, and possessing firearms. So it looks like as long as he wasn't doing any of that, he was good. But the fact that they found those firearms on the property don't look good. Now, it continues by saying law enforcement officers testified at his bond hearing that the two shootings appeared gang-related. Officers described Edwards as the top enforcer with the TBG gang and that he has been feuding with BBG, Bottom Boy Gorilla Gang, which includes NBA Youngboy and his affiliates. The two Baton Rouge record labels have a long history of deadly violence against each other, dating back to 2017 slaying of rapper Garrett G Money Burton, a TBG leader. So talking about G Money there. The new allegations against Edwards shine more light on the ongoing Baton Rouge rap beef. According to an arrest warrant prepared by Slidell Police, officers responded to reports of a shooting on April 29, 2020, and later discovered the intended target was likely a man signed to the NBA Youngboy record label who allegedly had a hit out on him from a rival Baton Rouge rap group. Now, I wonder who that group could be. You know what I mean? The man and another person who was injured in the shooting had just entered a car outside of the Slidell apartment complex when they were met with a hail of bullets. The intended target, who escaped without injuries, was scheduled to testify against Edwards in court about a previous shooting. Stop right there. Now, that went viral. That little excerpt right there, because everybody was trying to figure out who was the rapper that was down with NBA Youngboy that was about to testify against Lit Yoshi, man. Like, people were like, whoa, that's revealing, man. That's a lot, man. That's a lot. That says a lot, because whoever it is that's on NBA Youngboy's label or associated with them that was about to testify against Lit Yoshi, they're saying that he went to, basically stop that person from testifying. That's the safe way of saying it. Let's say that. Now, let's finish this out. It says, detectives later unearthed a YouTube video posted in March of 2020 in which Edwards called him a snitch. Edwards was finally arrested after his phone was found in a vehicle linked to another Baton Rouge shooting on July 4th, 2020. Search warrants for the phone turned up evidence that implicated Edwards in both shootings, as well as other criminal activity, according to police. Now, based on all this information, they knew for a long time that, or thought they knew, that Lit Yoshi was allegedly involved in a whole bunch of shooting and drama as far as Baton Rouge is concerned. Okay, so it goes on by saying the phone also contained several text conversations in which his father urged him to leave town because his life was in danger. Another phone number linked to Edwards pinged off a cell tower in Slidell around the time of the April 29th shooting, police said. Detectives also believe he paid an accomplice to keep track the intended target in days leading up to an attack. So he paid an accomplice to keep track of the intended target, whoever the person is that was from NBA that was allegedly going to tell on him or something like that, or testify against him. They're saying he paid an accomplice just to track that person down. Wow, that's wild. Now, it finishes by saying Edwards was booked into jail as a fugitive and will likely be extradited back to Louisiana in the coming weeks. After learning of his latest arrest, Baton Rouge prosecutors filed a request to revoke bond on Thursday, arguing he violated several conditions of his release, including racking up new criminal charges. His attorney, however, argued there were no allegations of new criminal activity because the charges are based on an incident last year. If the request is granted, it would leave him in jail until his existing charges are resolved. So basically, he'd be locked up until after his trial, for all of these cases. And he's got a lot of cases pending. So this is wild to say the least. And all of that led to the fact of Fredo Bang getting locked up, man. That's it. I mean, basically, they were coming to get Lit Yoshi from a shooting that they tied him to, or allegedly tried to tie him to, in April of 2020, And basically, while they were there, they searched the premises, and that's where they got enough evidence to lock up Fredo Bang. So, man, wild situation, and it says a lot about the company that you keep, man. I mean, I know Fredo Bang was doing this thing in the music game, and he seems like a fun dude. Like, he's really not on no drama right now. He's really trying to make it in this rap game. But, man, this is a crazy situation that's going to derail some of those dreams for at least a second, it seems like. Seems like his lawyer's on top of it, too. So we'll see how this ends up for Fredo Bang and for Lit Yoshi. Now, what do you guys think about this situation, man? Do you think that Lit Yoshi brought this on himself and on the Fredo Bang, man, by being so active in the streets, allegedly? Or do you feel like, man, they were just looking for a reason to search the house because, man, there's still a whole bunch of stuff that they're trying to figure out as far as this war between NBA and TBG and BBG and all that going on in Baton Rouge and how this connects back to what went down in Miami. Because I truly feel like this whole task force and investigation is not going to stop until they find out who took old dude's life, man, down there in Miami during the Rolling Loud. You know what I mean? Now, with that, this has been your boy Big Man. Do me a favor. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so that way you get a notification every time I drop this hot content. And we out of here. Peace.